Imagine you're standing outside a restaurant late at night. You open an app, book a ride, and within a few minutes, a Tesla pulls up in front of you. The headlights flash, the doors unlock, and the car is ready to go. But something feels strange. You look through the windshield expecting to see a driver. There's no one, no hands on the steering wheel, no foot on the pedals, just an empty driver's seat. For a second, your brain tells you this can't be real. Then the doors close, the car pulls away, and you realize you've just experienced something people have been talking about for almost a decade. The future finally showed up. For years, Elon Musk kept making one promise: a Tesla that could drive itself. No human intervention, no professional driver sitting in the front. Just artificial intelligence making every decision in real time. Some people believed him. Others laughed. Deadlines came and went. Predictions changed. Critics called it impossible. But in 2026, Tesla finally took a step that turned those promises into something people could actually experience. Robotaxi was no longer just a presentation on a stage. It became a real service carrying real passengers on public roads. Naturally, the internet exploded. Some people called it the biggest breakthrough since the electric car. Others said it was released too early. Videos started appearing online almost immediately. Passengers recorded their first rides. Some looked almost magical. A car navigating traffic with nobody behind the wheel. Others raised difficult questions after documenting unexpected behavior during rides. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about whether Tesla could launch Robotaxi anymore. It became something much more important. Is it actually ready? That's the question we're answering today. Not from the perspective of Tesla fans, not from the perspective of Tesla critics. Just by looking at the technology, the rollout, the real-world performance, and what this launch actually means for the future of transportation. Because this isn't just another Tesla product launch. If Robotaxi succeeds, it could completely change how people think about owning a car. Think about it. Today, most cars spend over 90% of their lives parked. They sit outside homes, office buildings, shopping malls, parking garages, expensive machines doing absolutely nothing. Elon Musk has argued for years that this makes very little sense. Why should a vehicle worth tens of thousands of dollars spend almost its entire life waiting for someone to drive it? Robotaxi is Tesla's answer to that question. Instead of buying a car that mostly sits still, imagine a future where one autonomous vehicle transports people almost all day. When one passenger gets out, another gets in. No driver needs to clock in, no shift changes, no overtime. The vehicle simply keeps working, powered by software instead of a human behind the wheel. If that sounds revolutionary, that's because it is. But turning that vision into reality is far more difficult than giving a car the ability to steer. A human driver does thousands of tiny things every single minute without even thinking about them. Reading traffic lights, predicting when another driver might make a mistake, noticing a child standing near a crosswalk, reacting to an ambulance before hearing the siren, recognizing road construction, understanding confusing intersections, making eye contact with pedestrians. Every one of those decisions happens almost instantly. Now imagine asking software to do exactly the same thing. Not on a perfectly mapped test track, not inside a simulator, on real roads, with real people every single day. That's the challenge Tesla accepted, and unlike many companies developing autonomous vehicles, Tesla made one decision that completely separated it from almost everyone else in the industry. They refused to rely on expensive laser sensors known as LiDAR. Instead, Tesla bet almost everything on cameras and artificial intelligence. At first, that sounded crazy. Many experts argued cameras alone would never be enough. Human vision has blind spots. Cameras struggle in heavy rain, the dense fog, direct sunlight, or unusual lighting conditions. Competing companies believed the safest solution was to combine cameras with LiDAR and radar, creating multiple layers of redundancy. Tesla disagreed. Their argument was surprisingly simple. Humans drive using eyes and a brain. Cars should do the same. Instead of adding more hardware, Tesla focused on building smarter software. Every Tesla sold over the past several years has been collecting enormous amounts of driving data, with customer permission and within Tesla's data practices, to help improve its full self-driving system. Every lane change, every left turn, every highway merge, every unusual traffic situation became another lesson for Tesla's neural networks. No other autonomous driving company has access to a fleet of customer vehicles collecting data at this scale, and that's where Tesla's biggest advantage begins. Most companies first build autonomous technology, then search for vehicles. Tesla already has millions of vehicles on the road capable of contributing data to improve its AI systems. That creates a feedback loop that's incredibly difficult to replicate. More cars generate more driving data. More driving data trains better AI models. Better AI improves the driving experience. Improved driving encourages more adoption, and the cycle repeats. It's one of the biggest reasons investors remain confident in Tesla's long-term autonomous driving strategy. But data alone doesn't guarantee success, because there's another challenge that's just as important: trust. People don't simply trust technology because a company tells them to. They trust it after seeing it work again, and again, and again. That's why Tesla didn't launch Robotaxi nationwide overnight. The company has taken a gradual rollout approach, expanding service city by city while collecting feedback and refining the system. Every new operational area becomes another learning environment. Every successful trip increases confidence. Every unexpected situation becomes another opportunity to improve the software. This slow expansion frustrates some people. But from an engineering perspective, it makes perfect sense. Because autonomy isn't something you finish, it's something you continuously improve. And that's exactly what Tesla is trying to do. Still, one question refuses to disappear. If Tesla has spent years collecting driving data, if millions of Teslas are already on the road, if Robotaxi is finally carrying passengers, why are some experts still saying another company is ahead? The answer is far more interesting than you might think. Launching a self-driving taxi isn't the hardest part. Keeping it safe after thousands, and eventually millions, of rides is. That's where the real challenge begins, because no matter how advanced your AI is, the real world never repeats itself. Every day brings something new. A road closed without warning, a delivery truck blocking an entire lane, a cyclist suddenly changing direction, heavy rain reducing visibility, construction workers waving traffic through an unfinished intersection. These aren't rare situations, they're everyday driving. And unlike a human driver, an AI system can't rely on instinct. It relies on training. That's why Tesla's biggest asset isn't actually the robotaxi itself, it's the data behind it. For years, Tesla vehicles equipped with full self-driving capabilities have been collecting billions of miles of real-world driving information. Every successful maneuver and every difficult situation helps improve the neural networks that power Tesla's autonomous driving system. Instead of writing thousands of individual driving rules, Tesla has shifted toward end-to-end AI models that learn from enormous amounts of driving data. Think of it like teaching a child. You don't explain every possible situation they'll ever face. You let them experience thousands of situations until recognizing patterns becomes natural. Tesla wants its AI to learn the same way. That's why Elon Musk has repeatedly described Tesla as an AI company just as much as a car company, because once the software becomes good enough, the same intelligence can power every future robotaxi, every Tesla, potentially millions of vehicles. And that's where Tesla's long-term strategy becomes very different from traditional automakers. Most car companies sell you a vehicle. Tesla wants to build a transportation network, a network where software keeps improving long after the car leaves the factory. Imagine buying a car today, and 5 years later, it's actually smarter than the day you purchased it. That's the future Tesla is betting on. But here's the reality. Building the AI is only half the battle. The other half is public trust. When the first robotaxi rides became available, early passengers quickly started sharing their experiences online. Many rides were smooth. People were impressed by how naturally the vehicle handled traffic, turns, and lane changes. For some riders, it genuinely felt like stepping into the future. But not every ride was perfect. A handful of widely shared videos showed situations where the vehicle behaved unexpectedly. Some riders reported sudden braking when no obvious obstacle was visible. Others documented awkward pickup or drop-off locations. There were also isolated clips showing lane positioning that sparked debate online. Now, it's important to put those incidents into context. Every new transportation technology gets examined under a microscope. One unusual event involving a robotaxi can generate millions of views online. Meanwhile, thousands of completely normal rides rarely make headlines because they're simply not interesting to watch. That doesn't mean the incidents should be ignored. Far from it. They matter because every unexpected behavior highlights another scenario the AI needs to handle better. And this is where Tesla's development philosophy becomes clear. The company doesn't expect perfection on day one. It expects continuous improvement. Every edge case, every mistake, every unusual traffic situation becomes another lesson for the system. That's the advantage of software. Unlike a human driver, an AI model can learn from events happening across an entire fleet. If one vehicle encounters a difficult situation, that experience can eventually help improve countless others. That's a powerful idea, but it also creates enormous expectations. Because people don't compare robotaxis to average human drivers. They compare them to perfect drivers. A human making one mistake might be considered normal. A robot making one mistake becomes global news. That's the standard Tesla has chosen to compete against. And perhaps that's fair. Because if autonomous driving is going to replace human drivers someday, the public expects it to be significantly safer. Not just almost as good. Tesla knows that, which is exactly why the rollout has been measured instead of aggressive. Each city teaches the system something new, different road layouts, different driving cultures, different weather, different traffic behavior. Miami doesn't drive like Austin. Dallas doesn't drive like California. Every expansion adds another layer of experience. And that's why this launch is more important than many people realize. Tesla isn't just launching a transportation service. It's expanding one of the world's largest real-world AI experiments. Every completed ride generates more information. Every successful trip builds more confidence. Every challenge helps refine the software. And over time, that's exactly how systems become smarter. But here's where things become really interesting. While Tesla is collecting data from its own expanding robotaxi network, another company has already spent years doing something remarkably similar, quietly, without nearly as much attention, without Elon Musk's headlines. And today, that company is operating at a scale many people don't realize. The question is, does that experience give them an advantage? Or is Tesla's AI-first strategy still the stronger long-term bet? That's where the story takes an unexpected turn. At this point, it's easy to think this is simply a battle between Tesla and Waymo. But the reality is a little more complicated. Both companies are trying to solve the same problem. They're just taking completely different paths. Waymo believes autonomous driving should prioritize maximum redundancy. That's why its vehicles typically use a combination of cameras, LiDAR, radar, and highly detailed mapping. The result is a service that has already delivered a large number of paid autonomous rides across multiple US cities. Years of commercial operation have given Waymo valuable real-world experience and public trust in the areas where it operates. Tesla looked at the same problem and reached a completely different conclusion. Instead of making every vehicle more expensive by adding extra sensors, Tesla decided to bet on cameras, artificial intelligence, and massive amounts of driving data. It's a much riskier approach, but if it works, it could also become much easier to scale. Imagine trying to build 1 million autonomous vehicles. Now imagine equipping every one of them with expensive laser sensors and constantly updating highly detailed maps. That's an enormous challenge. Tesla's vision is different. If a camera-based AI system becomes reliable enough, almost every future Tesla could theoretically become part of the same autonomous ecosystem through software. That's why Elon Musk has always talked about autonomy as a software problem first and a hardware problem second. And that's exactly why so many people are divided. Supporters argue Tesla's approach has the greatest long-term potential because software can improve rapidly and be deployed across millions of vehicles. Critics argue that removing additional sensing hardware increases the difficulty of achieving consistently safe autonomous driving. Right now, both sides have valid arguments, and that's why declaring a winner today would be premature. Waymo currently has a more mature commercial robotaxi operation in the cities where it serves riders. Tesla, on the other hand, is betting that a simpler hardware approach combined with AI and fleet-scale learning can eventually reach much larger numbers of vehicles. Those aren't just different products, they're different philosophies. And history has shown that technology races are rarely won in the first year. The internet often forgets this. People expect revolutionary technology to arrive fully perfected on day one. But that's almost never how innovation works. The first smartphones were slow. The first electric cars had limited range. The first reusable rockets failed multiple times before landing successfully. Every major breakthrough begins with imperfections. Autonomous driving will probably be no different. The real question isn't whether Tesla's Robotaxi is perfect today. It isn't. The real question is whether Tesla can improve it faster than anyone else. Because that's where software changes the rules. Every update can make the system better. Every mile driven teaches the AI something new. Every unusual traffic situation becomes another lesson. Every successful ride builds more public confidence. And over time, small improvements can become massive advantages. That's exactly what happened with Tesla's electric vehicles. In the beginning, people questioned battery range, charging infrastructure, reliability, production capacity. Today, those conversations look very different than they did 10 years ago. Could the same thing happen with Robotaxi? Maybe, maybe not. Nobody knows yet. And that's what makes this one of the most fascinating technology stories unfolding right now. This isn't just about replacing Uber drivers or changing how people book rides. If autonomous transportation becomes truly reliable at scale, it could reshape insurance, logistics, urban planning, parking, vehicle ownership, and even the way cities are designed. Imagine a future where many families no longer feel the need to own 2 or 3 cars. Imagine parking lots shrinking because vehicles spend more time transporting passengers than sitting idle. Imagine transportation becoming available around the clock without traditional driver shifts. That's the future Tesla is trying to build. Whether it succeeds or not will depend on something much bigger than one successful launch. It will depend on years of engineering, millions of safe miles, continuous software improvements, public trust, and the ability to scale without compromising safety. So, is Tesla's Robotaxi really ready? The honest answer is, it's ready enough to begin proving itself. Not ready to declare victory. Not ready to replace every human driver overnight, but ready enough to show that autonomous transportation is no longer just a concept, it's becoming reality. And maybe that's the biggest milestone of all, because just a few years ago, the idea of sitting inside a driverless car felt like science fiction. Today, people are actually doing it. The race isn't over. In many ways, it has only just begun. And whether Tesla ultimately becomes the company that transforms transportation or another competitor gets there first, one thing is certain. The next decade won't be remembered for faster cars. It will be remembered for cars that learned how to drive themselves. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more documentaries that separate real innovation from internet hype, don't forget to subscribe. Every day we break down the technologies, companies, and ideas that are shaping the future, one story at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.